Hello friends, I am Chevy. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope it's fantastic. Everything here is pretty good. I did finish a book yesterday, but I'm not going to review it today. I feel like if I continue to read at the level that I've been reading for the last couple of months, I'm just having 2 or 3 review videos every week is just, it's a bit much. And I feel like you guys don't care. Like, you're not reading these books. And I'm not a book channel, so people aren't going to come here. Like, it's just it's too much, in my opinion. So I think that if I'm going to continue reading at this level for the rest of this year or whatever, however long this lasts, I'll try to maybe just do like a weekly wrap-up video or something. Here's the books I read this week. Because I think it's too much. That being said, I will talk a little bit about the book I read yesterday because in relation to my own writing, I've said before that one of the reasons I like reading Stephen King is because his writing style feels very similar to my own. And that's true in a lot of ways. But yesterday I found an author that, well, not yesterday. I started the book 2 days ago. Finished it yesterday. His name is Josh Malerman, I believe is his last name. He wrote Bird Box, internet phenomenon movie Bird Box that was on Netflix. I picked up his second book. I don't know why I picked it up. I don't think it was recommended to me. I think it was an advertisement and it was $2, and I said whatever, I'll try it. Called Black Mad Wheel. And so we'll review it at some point. But the thing that I want to talk about is his writing style. It was very eerie for me to read this book because it felt so much like I was reading something I wrote. And not because it was like a conscious effort, but just because his writing style, at least in that book, I actually own Bird Box and I've never read it. I should read it now that I've read this book to see. He writes very poetically. I've always felt that that's a creepy, like, it's creepy to call oneself a poetic person. Like, to me that feels like, I don't know, that's just something that somebody else assigns to you. But what I mean is, he uses sentences, he uses the structure of the page as part of the story. So there are lots of one-sentence paragraphs, lots of sentences broken by returns, by carriage returns, and having asides in the middle of that, using the beat of the way that you're reading the book, the beat of the reading as part of the story. And I've always written that way. I've always written prose poetically in that way. And it's caused me to go back and re-edit to try to bring something closer to like a traditional style. I would close up a lot of those poetic the ways that I kind of mess with the language. And reading this book means I didn't have to, because I think the book doesn't have the best reviews, and I understand why. But I believe it was still a commercial success. Bird Box was obviously a massive success. I think this guy has made himself a very nice career out of writing. And a traditional publisher published this book. And sure, it might be because of the success of Bird Box, but it doesn't. The point is, there is room for stylized text. Not claiming that I'm going to push boundaries or whatever, but it was a really interesting way to look at it, because maybe it means I don't have to be as formal as I think I need to be. I grew up in an era where we taught kids that there was a style guide and this was the way you wrote. And that's very true for like client work. If you're working for somebody as a technical writer, you have to follow the style guide, right? If you're writing an essay paper, you have to follow the style guide. But when you're writing for yourself in particular, and if you're not writing for, if you're writing for commercial success, I think that's a very different thing. I'm not writing for that purpose. I'm writing because I have stories that I want to tell, and I would like to figure out a way to get those into the world. It doesn't matter if there's financial gain attached to it for me. Doesn't matter at all. It would be nice, but it doesn't matter. If you're not writing for financial gain, or you're not writing for critical acclaim or success, or whatever, putting books on the bookshelves, you can take a lot more liberty with the structure of the story, the like physical structure. I don't necessarily mean like arcs and all that sort of stuff. And that's a very interesting thought for me, because I've always had a little. Can you hear the leaves? I've always had a little bit of that feeling when reading King, because he does write a very conversational style, and he does use a lot of asides and a lot of parentheticals, like I do, a lot of em dashes. But this guy, this Mallerman guy, just kind of throws convention aside and is like, I'm going to write the story in a physical form the way that I want to. I'm going to write dialogue. His dialogue is kind of reminiscent for me of the who's the guy who wrote No Country for Old Men and The Road? Cormac McCarthy. Kind of reminiscent of that, in that there's no like he said, she said. There's just line of dialogue, line of dialogue, line of dialogue, and you can figure out who's saying what. You don't have to really do a whole lot of. There'll be like the first one, he'll tell you, I said this, and then it's just dialogue back and forth, and you don't need all the extra context, all the extra words. I like that. It reads well, and I do it a lot. I also, but I do it a lot, but I also catch myself kind of. I don't say a lot of he said, she said. I will say things like. I will put emphasis on dialogue, instead of saying, whatever she said, or she said whatever. I will say, whatever she huffed. She groaned. She averted her eyes. Whatever. Like, I'll put emphasis on it, direction on it, so that it's clear who said it, and I'm also giving you a little context for the conversation, which I don't think is unique. That's not definitely didn't invent any of this. But reading successful books that give me a bigger insight into not the way I was taught was you wrote like this. If you did it any other way, it's wrong. That's what my English teachers taught us. This is how you do it. Anything else is completely wrong. Bullshit. Like, I got proof. I could show you lots of books that are written wrong. I remember when I was a kid in 7th or 8th grade, we read The Hobbit. And if you go look at The Hobbit, I don't know if current printings are the same, but in older printings of The Hobbit, Tolkien uses single quotes for dialogue. And dialogue within dialogue uses double quotes. So it's backwards. Instead of double quotes on the outside, single quotes on the inside. And I remember asking a teacher about that. And she said, I asked her, like, is this because this whole story is written as a diary entry, and so the whole thing is quoted on the, bookends? And she said, I don't know. Like, but she said that, when you become successful, you can break the rules. Okay. I think that you're allowed to break the rules from the beginning. Why was she discouraging me? I don't know. Let me know what you think about the book reviews. I enjoy talking about books, and I have been reading a whole heck of a lot of them lately. And I don't see myself slowing up right now. So if you want to hear about the books, great. If not, I think doing like a weekly wrap up is probably the better way. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know to sound smart is transubstantiation. Nope. Transubstantiation. There we go. It's a noun meaning the notion of endowing something with symbolic value beyond its physical construct. Transubstantiation is used as a technique in marketing and transforming shabby and gauche items into supposed examples of tasteful luxury. Transubstantiation. Transubstantiation. Would this is blasphemy, but would church symbology would holy symbols fall under that sort of thing?